Okay, what am I even looking at? I'm glad you asked. 2009, what were you doing? I was probably busy playing the Wii or something, but the folks over at Pony were up to something else. Platformers are cool and all, but there's one flaw that every well-polished platformer has. They end. So Pony says, okay, that sucks, but what if they didn't? New content for forever. In terms of new content, there is a miracle drug that you can add to games, by the name of procedural generation. When you think procedurally generated, you probably get an image in your head. Maybe a dungeon crawler, or a roguelike. Maybe AI-generated stuff. More than likely Minecraft. Me, I think of this Spider-Man game I had. Procedural generation is very volatile. It's very hard to get right. You can use it in minor ways, like making footprints appear as you walk, or inverse kinematics, aka why your character puts their feet on different stairs. Or you can use it in more drastic ways, games like Rogue where procedural generation literally sold the game. It's a tool for polish or a mechanic for game longevity. Look no further than every game ever getting a cool as fuck randomizer.
Whoa! No way! Oh my...
So what if we had a procedurally generated platformer? What would that look like? Pony starts making what that would look like and unveils what they have so far on Kickstarter. And it goes by the name Cloudberry Kingdom. Oh, wait, not quite. Cloudberry, okay, oh shit. Cloudberry Kingdom, oh my god, pick a logo. Cloudberry Kingdom, that's the one. The game is a completely procedurally generated platformer. They designed an AI meant to make levels that are perfect for any given player's skill level. Goals were met, betas came out on Steam, and interested parties generally liked what they saw.
And everything, but it really plays quite well actually.
And what they saw was this. It's goofy, in a fun way, but obviously amateur. It gives me Battle Block Theater vibes. One of those interested parties was a small company. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they were called Ubisoft. Sometime around then, Pony signs with Ubisoft to be their publisher. Then they get Tiger Hair Studios, an art and animation company, hired, and start ironing out creases. Early concept art looks cool. 2013 rolls around, and they release what they've got. This looks a lot better. It feels better too. I think before I get into how the game works, I should talk about how the player works. It's literally just left-right jump. But the movement has a bit of acceleration, and the jump has a hilarious amount of startup. Like, let's compare jumps. Ever since the first Mario, there's been the rule of hold the jump button to go higher. Cloudberry Kingdom is no exception, but there's a lot of mixed results as you try different games. But what happens if you only hit the jump button for one frame? Usually you get kind of a set jump, like a tiny little pounce to get you by. But look at Cloudberry Kingdom. This seems like it's awful, but in practice it's very interesting. It makes your character feel heavy in a good way. Less moving through molasses and more strong acrobatic man, if you catch my drift. Movement feels really good is the point I'm getting at. Now, game time. The first thing shoved in your face is arcade mode, but let me put a pin in that. I'm gonna start with free play. First is character creation. Bunch of wacky stuff. You can't get like super custom, but stuff like 2 mustaches is pretty funny. Not really much to say, I think player freedom is good. I don't think that's really a hot take. Free play is kinda like your stage builder. You tell the game what you want, and it'll just spit out levels for you. With difficulty settings, length settings, do you want checkpoints, etc, etc. It's less of a specific stage builder and more of like ordering a sandwich at Subway. So what are the toppings? Big gaps, moving blocks, ghost platforms, falling blocks, bouncing blocks, elevators and swinging blocks, clouds that you can jump through, bugs to double jump off of, fire bars, falling spike balls and spinning spike balls, saws, timed spikes, lasers that fire in a rhythm, and more. Everything is designed well and is very readable. After you get used to looking at everything, you can start seeing new levels and immediately understand how they're going to behave. Except when they don't. This is procedurally generated, remember? So not only is placement random, but so is the attributes. Like, how fast do the saws spin? The fire bars, how long are they? Which way do elevators go? How far do the bugs pace? This one will fuck you up. And this is getting to be a lot, so how does the game cope? The thing is, not only does the game draw up a level, it draws up a solution too. According to the game, no level is impossible because it has to show its work. If you open up the shop during any level, you can pay the game to cheat off its homework, and it'll show you exactly what you need to do. Even if it is bullshit, it's technically possible. And maybe you like something you see? Maybe something hokey happens. Maybe you just want to try some hard level over and over. You can save levels at any point during gameplay. It doesn't matter what game mode, just pause and then name the level and it'll save it. Next up would be story mode, and I'm just gonna be blunt, this just doesn't do it for me. The story is just sort of there, and I'm not really a fan of this papier-mâché art style. The voice acting is okay, I guess.
I'd stay out of there for at least 10 minutes if I were you.
It took me almost 3 hours to beat. You go through 240 levels with infinite lives. It's structured by presets, so the first section will only generate certain styles and difficulties of levels. The second section will do a different type, and so on, increasing in difficulty. You do get to try out a lot of the other modes, but it's less of a story thing and more of a, oh, I got the jetpack now. The story is only told in cutscenes anyway, so it seems a lot more like a tour of the game, but with context. You see the game's offerings and get used to the progression. It's not the worst story of all time. I would just chalk it up as passable.
Nothing like a little head to make the job easier.
So, arcade. There's a couple different flavors, but they're all unlockable. Stuff like Time Challenge, where you have to maintain a timer while you go through levels. Or Hero Challenge, where you get to swap through all the different modes. But Escalation mode. This to me is the real game. All this other stuff is just kind of a bonus. It's just as it sounds. Things escalate in difficulty the longer you play. But something about this layering is comfortably oppressive. It's like a weighted blanket, firm but snug. The gems are awesome, and they serve 4 purposes. Collecting 25 nets you an extra life. The path along the level is highlighted. Clearing a level by getting all the gems adds to a score multiplier. And you get access to the shop. Lives and hints are cool. The multiplier is a psychological trick. I'm not a high score enjoyer by any means. I mean, like, I like games that incorporate high scores, but that's not why I play games. Something about the multiplier in particular, though, is awesome. Maintaining a 16 times feels outstanding, and all the more heartbreaking when you lose it by tripping over a tiny fireball. It's just one of those cool things in games, not just this one. The other thing is the shop. Because gems might be currency, but what if I told you that lives were currency? As you get to the higher difficulties, you need to start spending more lives on each level. This is where you want to start investing your gems on items to help you through, be that watching a bot to play, slow-mo, or drawing a route on the screen while you play. These harder levels start requiring a split-second option of spending gems to assist you through, or just trying to rough it out and get to the next level. The game starts to resemble auto racing of all things. Gems are like your tires, and lives are like your fuel. You can't race without fuel, duh. And tires are all about how you use them. You can drive more aggressively if you keep using your tires. But if you use them up too much, you have to slow down and start burning more fuel. For example,
あなたは追い抜けなかった。私は加速で勝てる。何？私のタイヤはすれ減っています。
When I pulled forward on the straightaway, you were already ahead, straightening up. The parts of the tire used for acceleration get worn down bit by bit. Your machine is worn out. You can't fight anymore.
But running out of fuel early makes you wish you used your tires to their full potential. You're looking for that holy matrimony where you've expended both resources to their fullest. This thought loop, combined with a constant stream of new levels that require you to improv on the fly, make shit up as you go, it's like an endurance race where the track is different every lap. Not only do you need to understand the car, you need to have a good sense of how to drive as well. The shit's super impressive. I don't think I'm allowed to like a game if it doesn't have a good soundtrack, and Cloudberry Kingdom is no exception. The soundtrack is made by 2 artists, a group of Scotsmen by the name of Blind Digital, and someone named Peacemaker, but they're credited in the credits as Kári Sigurðsson.
Kári Sigurðsson.
And they're kinda hard to track down. On paper it's a no-brainer, but the choice to use progressive house music for a game that gets progressively harder just clicks perfectly. The game works just like the music. It's just a simple drum. You start to kind of feel it and vibe with it. Then the backing drums. The game starts adding more pieces bit by bit as you slowly set into a flow state. And then before you know it, you're at like a... Where was I? Oh, so why the video title? This was a hit, right? I know Steam charts isn't the best source. A lot of people played this on Xbox. The reception was good and people liked it. 201 players at launch and 201 positive reviews. It's not the most in the world, but I think they deserve better, especially for such a good review rate. It kinda sucks that it bounced. The world is cruel like that sometimes. But what of Pony now? Well, let's check their website. The Facebook? Last post was from Cloudberry Kingdom launch. Twitter then. Some retweets about Cloudberry Kingdom from 7 years ago. YouTube? A trailer for their second game. That they didn't finish. Just anything then? The animation company they work with? That's a weird one. They have a portfolio, some past works, and an office space, but they have a lot of like car pictures on their page. The last thing they posted was from Cloudberry Kingdom. The composers. A new album from Blind Digital, but that was quite a while ago. 2 members have since moved on to a group called No Gender, but that's now also defunct. But nothing. It's like it happened and then poofed into thin air. The last comment on their Kickstarter is about focusing on a Vita version that you can't find any info for. Believe me, I've tried.
Kingdom coming out very soon on Wii U as well as PC, 360, PS3, anything else? PlayStation Vita. PlayStation Vita, that's a good platform for it.
And talk of a coder's edition of the game? A form of care package in the form of new mechanics that was supposed to drop a little while after the game released. But nothing like this happened, as far as I can find. And people are still asking about it all these years later, most recently in 2021. And then, just as quietly as it released, poof. For real this time, though. Around 2020, Ubisoft quietly took the game off Steam. Well, not actually. They did the more annoying thing. The page is still there, but you just can't buy the game because, I don't know, bit boop, fuck you. There's even still a Ubisoft webpage up telling you that you can buy now, available for PC, no, and Xbox. Yeah, about that. You know what that means, right? This ocean. Doesn't it call to you? Make you feel like plundering? Do you understand what I'm getting at? Is the subtext obvious enough for you? As always, please be responsible on the internet. If you do have or manage to find a copy, check the description. I made a small mod for the game that lets you skip the intro cinematics because they're very... yeah, loud. If you don't want to brave the 7 seas, you should go check out the soundtrack. Mostly Blind Digital shit. Rip Curl is a banger. And the guitar solo on 140 miles per hour in the fog is just sex.
So I guess it means we kind of probably have to make a second one then.
It would be nice.
That'd be good.
We sure as shit aren't gonna beat the first one.